So I was up in Target. Now, the only reason I went to Target because I had to use the bathroom, and that was the closest bathroom at the time. So anyways, I'm standing there. I'm kind of waiting for Golden to come out the restroom. You know, I went in before her, and so I was waiting for her to come out. So anyways, I'm listening to this, I'm standing by the carts right by the door, and I want the white folks, my white friends, my white folks, tell me this, help me understand. Now, I don't like making generalizations or stereotypes, but I just have never seen a black family where the kids talk out of order. And maybe it's not out of order, maybe it's how some of you raise your children. I don't know. I'm not trying to be discriminatory here, so help me out. Give me a little grace if I don't say this exactly right. But the mama said to the little girl that was standing by the door, she was up maybe 20 feet, 30 feet, had her cart, the little girl by the door, she said, "Come on, Callie." And Callie said, "No." And then, I wasn't even looking that way, but when I heard that, it made me turn around. So I slowly turned around, and I'm peeping it on the low, right? Because I didn't want to embarrass the mama by staring and all that jazz. So I'm peeping on the low, and she says, "Come on." And Callie says, "No, I want to go." And the mama says, "Well, if we go, we got to go home." "I don't want to go home." I mean, now the mama had a cart. She had the baby in the cart that was probably like 2. And then she had another little girl, I'm estimating it was around 5. And then Callie was probably like 7. You know, I'm just guessing. They had 10 kids, so I'm pretty accurate on that. Anyways, so finally, they're going back and forth. Little girl says, "Why?" Mama answers the why. Then she says, "Why to that?" Mama answers that why. Then she says, "Why to that?" Mama answers that why. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know, I've seen comedians make jokes about this. I've heard people make jokes about this. I've seen this myself over and over. I've never seen this in the black community, and definitely never seen it out of my children. You know,
amen.
Because when you know,
never. I was a single mama and never seen that of my children. They knew. I didn't even have to say a word when we got assigned to places. They knew already know how to behave because I started when they were babies. I started disciplining them at 1 and 2 and telling them that's not good to do. No. And so they learned. My son is 32, only had 2 spankings his whole entire life. My daughter only had 1. And I can just look at them and they knew.
So it's like you give them a speech. You give them a speech before you even get out the car. This is how my speech went. "Okay, y'all, we're about to go over to your grandmama's house. This is what we're going to do. Everybody going to go in. You're going to give everybody a hug. Everybody gives everybody a hug. Smile, give them a hug. Tell them you love them. Hello, happy Thanksgiving, whatever it is." And then I tell them it's showtime. Turn it on, baby. You know, be good, be exciting, be fun, but turn it on. It's showtime. That was my thing. What was your talk?
My thing was when we get up in, before we even left the house, we going to go to this store. We going for groceries. We ain't going for no toys, no presents, no McDonald's, no nothing. You rather not act a fool up in this store because you got to come back to the car and deal with me, and you got to go home with me. Right. So when you get up in here, don't start falling out on the floor because you have to deal with it when I get home. We'll deal with it. And they didn't.
You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with that. So help me understand. Now, maybe some folks, I'm not going to just put it on white, but that's what I see. But maybe some folks have a different philosophy on raising children. I definitely understand you don't have to whip your children to get their proper behavior. I definitely get that. I didn't get that as an early on parent, but as a grandparent, I now know that I don't have to give my grandchildren no whippings. Now, it might be some grandchildren that need that, but mine don't. And I know how to speak to them. I remember one time I had said something to one of my grandboys. I got 4 grandboys. I said something to my grandboys like, "Don't do that." And they started bawling out crying. You know, just a voice like that. So help me understand what it is. What's the difference? Because, you know, maybe they say, okay, if we reason with them, maybe we're teaching them how to communicate, maybe we're teaching them cognitive skills, how to think, how to talk, so on and so forth. Maybe there's a lesson that I need to be taught. But I sure didn't like seeing the mama having an answer to the baby saying, "Why? No, what?" You know, we didn't talk like that to my mama and daddy. Okay, y'all, peace and love. We at the rest stop on a little road trip. It's beautiful out here. I remember they used to have all those situations going on at nighttime. You couldn't be out here at night if you was by yourself, single woman, because there's crazy people in this world. Anyways, I love y'all. I'm feeling so good because I haven't heard back from McDonald's yet, but they sent me something else to fill out yesterday, which I did. I haven't received the onboarding letter, but I'm feeling good about it. Okay, y'all. Peace.